there, Bootstrappers. This is Ryan Nickel coming at you with another day in the life of a bootstrap real estate investor. And I can't see you because I have it reversed, or I have it facing me because I don't want to write backwards like I've done before in the past. It's just annoying. So I've had a lot of you reach out and ask me on my thread, how did I structure the last deal that I did? Now, it's nothing special, nothing fancy, but I'll just go over the numbers with you, just give you an idea of how I think and how I approach the situation. So I had an 11-acre mountain property. She approached me at the time, and she said, I have 5.5 acres, which is a 4-bedroom, 2-bath house. These are on 2 separate parcels, and then she's like, separate from that, I have another 5.5 acres, and I have this on the market for $70,000. Now here she had a mortgage for $240,000, and she said, look, in our conversations, I said, look, all the numbers that I'm pulling up there, that $240,000, you're just right about probably what fair market value is for the house. Now that's not a lie. For 5.5 acres, that's true. And it needs needed some work. It needed some updating and things like that to the bathrooms, the kitchens, and things like that. And the property it had just been deferred over a long period of time. So she just said, look, if you'll take over my mortgage payment of $240,000, my mortgage payment, which is $2,000 a month, you can just have the house. I have a buyer already in escrow with this property. We're good to go. I said, that's fine, that's not a problem. What I did is I contracted the house, and I said, I'm not going to execute on this contract until I know that I have it sold. As a smart investor, I'm not going to put my money at risk. So I'm going to go ahead and agree to buy this house, and then I'm going to market to find someone else that I can put in there as a suitable rent-to-own tenant for me as the owner of the property. She says, I don't care what you do, just get this mortgage off my back. And that's exactly what I did. And so I went out and I found a buyer for the property, and he was interested. Now, during this whole process, this buyer fell out of escrow, so that no longer was on the table for her. She says, hey, I have another 5.5 acres available if you want. And I said, yeah, let's talk about the price. She's like, well, I want $70,000 cash for it. And I said, not going to work for me, but let me see what I can find out. So in my mind, I was thinking that she would do some kind of terms deal with the whole entire package, and I'd end up making her payments with this over time. And she didn't like that idea whatsoever. But I still went ahead and got it under contract, and so I had the whole kit and caboodle. I had under contract for 370, no, I'm sorry, excuse me. That number is not accurate. I had everything under contract, and I was selling it for, I probably just should have left it. I was selling it for $370,000, and I had a buyer who was willing to give me $50,000 down. And he was willing to pay $2,500 a month. Now for me, I was like, perfect. So those are the terms that he and I had discussed. So I went back to her and I said, hey, we want to make this work. What can we do? I'll give you $20,000. And she's like, just $20,000? I'm like, yeah. She's like, no, I don't need to do that. So a day before closing, my buyer said, hey man, I can't do $50,000. Something came up. What I can do is I can do $36,000 and nothing more, and I can still do the $2,500 a month. I went back to the seller and I said, look, we don't want the 5.5 acres. We want just the house. And she said, that's fine. That's the original deal. That's exactly what I want. You can take this mortgage on, and you can give me the $2,000, or the payment was $2,000 a month. So if I did that, I would have pocketed $36,000 and cash flow $500 a month. Not a bad deal. However, this particular buyer, his heart was set on these extra 5.5 acres. One, because he doesn't want someone living next to him up there. It's on the top of a mountain. Give you like an idea. So this is like the parcel. The house is right here. And then the way it's split is that the first 5.5 acres come like this. And the other 5.5 acres go like this, and then all the way down the mountain. So he wanted all this extra area because he's a cultivator. He's a farmer. He's into marijuana growing. I said, hey man, I don't care what you do with the property. Once you buy it, that's on you. If you get busted with it or whatever, I'll take the property back. You lose your down payment, it's all good. He's like, no, I'm cool. I know how to do this. I'm like, again, I don't care. It's your business. You're buying the property. But he really wanted this because he didn't want anyone up there. So I went back to her again. I said, look, you know what? Here's what I can do. Here's my offer for this particular property. I will buy it from you for $60,000 with $12,000 down now, and then for the next 4 years, $12,000 a year. So by year 5, we will have paid you $60,000. So basically, it's $1,000 a month, but we're doing lump sum, so $12,000 every year on the anniversary of the contract. She said, I'll do that. So what I did was I took up the $36,000. I gave her $12,000, and that left me with $24,000 plus the cash flow. But what I was able to do with this particular deal was, instead of me selling it to him for $370,000, I upped the price to $405,000, allowing me an extra $70,000 in equity that I would have had. No, I'm sorry, extra $35,000 in equity. So I increased my profit on the deal an extra $35K. Again, he's a pot grower. He does not plan on carrying this very long. He says, look, man, after our first harvest, we're probably going to give you about 100 grand. Then we're going to give you another 100 grand. And we're just going to keep on rolling like this until it's completely paid off. I'm like, perfect. So I just bought myself, for $12,000, I just bought a $35,000 piece of equity. Plus, I get the cash flow. It was a good deal. It was a win-win all the way around. She was willing to walk away completely from this particular chunk of the deal. I could have just, kept the $36,000, no big deal. But I ended up doubling that over time. Oh, and the way I did this was I structured it to this guy is that the payments were going to be, the land was $75,000 with $15K every year. So every time I pay her her $12,000, I'm pocketing $3 on the deal every single year. So instead of just taking this particular deal, we were able to incorporate the whole entire thing and made it a win-win situation. She, like I said, was willing just to sit on this land, wasn't willing to do anything with it. I didn't want her to sell it out from underneath us, but at the same time, she was really hurting financially. And it wasn't, in my heart, I felt like it wasn't the right thing to do, just to take this deal and just say, hey, you know what, thanks a lot, I'm on my way, and not give her anything for the deal. So that 12 grand really was a blessing to her. She had a lot of bills that she was falling behind on. She had carried this house for almost 6 months with squatters in the property. They hadn't paid her rent, hadn't done anything. She's replaced things, and they just constantly were trashing the property. Unfortunately, it was her own son that was in the house. So anyway, just like I said, it was the right thing to do. I got a client for life. She's given me, this was a referral from another friend who now is like on the hunt to give me more referrals because I helped a friend out in such a big way. So I mean, it goes to show that you can never give too much value to people in this business. Anyway, I went over all these numbers. I don't know if you guys can see this low or not. If you can't, let me just go ahead and tilt it. Hopefully that works. I don't know, because I can't see myself. But anyway, that's the deal that I did. Closed it. Made some good money on it. If you have any questions on how to structure this stuff, shoot me a text or a message at the bottom here. But this is what I do day in and day out. This is how I bootstrapped my business. And just think about it. What would one deal like this do for you? I mean, you get an infusion of cash. I mean, we got $24,000 is what we got. Plus, we're getting $500 a month cash flow. It's not a bad deal. I mean, it could have been more, could have been less. For us, it was just right. So, I mean, just think about it. What would one deal like this do to change your financial future? How would that benefit you? What would you do differently in your life if you had something like this, or if you knew how to do that? Go ahead and comment below. And I'm Ryan Nickel, and this is just another day in the life of a bootstrap real estate investor.